request me to come aboard your ship.
The deck of the BB-55 Battleship North Carolina was back to life with sailors.
Art.
Cadets and active duty personnel presented the colors as the United States Navy turned 235 years old. To mark this occasion, the Wilmington Navy League hosted a very special guest.
All in all, I'd say this is a banner day for the Navy League here in Wilmington, and I'm really proud that I was on, at the helm when this happened, because it's very rare. We'll probably not see this again for a while.
The 75th United States Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus.
Ray Mabus, Secretary of the Navy, was on board to speak on North Carolina's role throughout the history of the Navy.
The first North Carolina, which there's a model of coming in, authorized by Congress in 1816, hard on the heels of the War of 1812. 100-gun wooden ship. That first North Carolina was a result of the lessons that we learned in that war.
In 1937, Congress authorized the BB-55, which stood the test of battle in the Pacific throughout the Second World War.
There's no doubt that the USS North Carolina is the great icon, not only of the great service our country gave in World War II, but to honor all of our veterans. And to be able to have the U.S. Secretary of the Navy come to North Carolina to celebrate Navy Day is quite a remarkable feat. But I think it speaks volumes about North Carolina's overall commitment to the military, because you think of all the military bases. We have 5 major military installations here in eastern North Carolina alone.
And I can't tell you how many memories coming to a ship like this brings back to me. I served on a World War II era cruiser, had the teak decks, the smells, the sights, the notion that generations of sailors holystoned these decks, and the people who served here, and the sailors and the Marines who have walked the decks of every ship named North Carolina since the beginning of our country.
Secretary Mabus also reminded the guests on board the fantail of the ship how important it is that our servicemen and women around the world remain focused at all times in a state of war, as this day's celebration also marked the 10-year anniversary of the bombing of the USS Cole in Yemen on October 12, 2000.
The sailors on the Cole didn't wake up that morning thinking they were going to war. But when war came, and came to them, they reacted with courage, they reacted with devotion to duty, and they reacted with loyalty to their shipmates.
The Navy and Marine Corps have constantly evolved as new technologies and strategies of defense are introduced, according to Mabus. He says that all the ships and servicemen who have served in this branch of military are the most technologically sound available.
For 235 years, the Navy has been in constant motion, just like the oceans we sail on. For 235 years, we have led the United States and the world in technological innovations and the ability to meet and to overcome any challenge, any obstacle, and every fight that we have faced. For 235 years, we have grown. We have adapted. We have changed when necessary. We've done it to address the ever-shifting requirements of a fluid and complex world.
In addition to speaking on the continued importance of the Navy, the Secretary also spoke on the upcoming commissioning of the USS Gravely here in Wilmington.
Wanted to come to Wilmington for, number one, to be on the North Carolina, and number two, because you've commissioned the newest North Carolina here 2 years ago, and you're going to commission the USS Gravely here next month. Those two ships, the North Carolina, the attack class submarine, Virginia class attack submarine, and the Gravely, our newest DDG Aegis destroyer, represent the capabilities and the capacity that our fleet has today.
The Navy was quite impressed by Wilmington's response. Of course, it's the North Carolina, so that's a draw, but so far we have gotten hundreds of requests for tickets for the commissioning of the Gravely. So I think, at least from our perspective, the Navy Department, I think, is very appreciative of the stuff that we've done for the commissioning of North Carolina and the stuff that we're currently doing for the commissioning of the Gravely here, which is going to be, I think, another real feather in Wilmington's cap.
I think it also speaks volumes about Wilmington itself, because in hosting the commissioning of the USS North Carolina, as the Secretary said, Wilmington said, we love, we honor our veterans and also those active duty, and we have a vision to look forward. And so it was a wonderful way to bring this celebration together, not only of Navy Day and honoring our veterans, but now with USS Gravely commissioning coming up next month. The Secretary wanted to come down and be part of a ceremony leading into that special commissioning, since he will not be able to be here on that Saturday in November.
The future of the Navy and how it moves around the world is also an important focus for Secretary Mavis and can have major impacts on North Carolina's military representation and the state's economy.
I signed an agreement with the Secretary of Agriculture to look into biofuels, second, third generation biofuels, things like fuel from biomass, just basically trash, woody plants, and then third generation from things like algae. So we can become energy independent. It will help make us better fighters, and it will also help the farmers